What's up, fam? Great to see you. My name is Shamira Hill. I am the co-founder of DG Self Publishing. Welcome back to my self-publishing journey. As you guys know, I am working on my next children's book, and I'm taking you guys with me through the entire process. All right, so the last time we checked in, I had just received my feedback from the editor for the first round of edits, which takes place during phase 1 of the editing process. And so the feedback was just pretty like minor adjustments and minor suggestions about changing the wording so that it would be like more concise, not as like wordy or long-winded. And so I'm like, all right, cool, this is easy, simple, not much to change. This is going to be a short process, but it actually ended up being a longer process than I thought it would be. So November 5th is when I actually officially submitted my original manuscript to the editor. By the time, so the date that I actually finally approved my final edited manuscript was December 1st. So the whole process ended up taking like a little bit less than 4 weeks. And typically it takes about 2 weeks. And I believe it took me a little longer because I had like some specific questions that I wanted feedback on. And I also was not just operating in the role of like a client and author, but I was also like training this person on like the way we do things as a company, because this is a new editor who just recently joined our team. And so since I am also the owner of the company and I do a lot of like the training for our like new team members, I was kind of playing like a management role and a client role at the same time. Whereas some stuff, it was like it wouldn't necessarily be necessary for me to even like bring it up as a client. I was also giving her feedback about, okay, let's do this way, let's adjust that, because I'm preparing her for doing things for other clients as well. So all that to say, being a client slash author and a manager as well resulted in my process taking a little bit less than 4 weeks instead of the typical like 2 weeks. So but that was that. I'm like super happy with the end result. I got some amazing feedback. And some of the most significant things that came out of that process was an adjustment to my target audience and an adjustment to my actual book title. Yes, my book title actually changed, and that was because the editor mentioned that she didn't really feel like the title like completely, she didn't feel like it was like the best title to convey what the main idea of the book was. And she was right about that. So it was really good to get like an objective outside perspective. And so we kind of like looked at a few different ideas and we came up with a great new title that I feel really happy about and excited about. I'll reveal the new title at a later time, but it definitely fits with the story better. And I think it's going to be a more marketable title as well. So I'm excited about that. And then in terms of the age group, she was able to give me the feedback that the wording seemed to cater to a younger audience than what I intended. So my initial thought was that my story would be for ages 8 to 11. And she was like, well, the wording, like the language that you use is a little bit too kiddie for an 11-year-old. So after considering her feedback and thinking about a few different things, I ended up adjusting my target audience to ages 5 to 9. So my book is an easy reader, which is basically a picture book for children who are just starting to read. So, and people categorize that age group differently. Some people will say it's for ages 6 to 8 or 5 to 8 or 5 to 9. It just kind of depends on like which guide you're looking at, but I ended up deciding that, okay, I'm gonna go with 5 to 9. That works for me, that works for my goals for the book, and I feel great about that. So I'm really happy with the feedback I got. I even had like a specific question about one part of the story, in terms of like the activity that the characters were doing in one particular scene. I'm like, what do you think about that? You think I should have them do something else at this point in the story? She's like, yeah, maybe do this instead. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm great. I got great feedback, and now I feel confident about the story, the title, and the target audience. So it was definitely a great experience with a great outcome. And also, over something that is new since my last update is I have picked my author photo. And so I had a few different options. Some of you guys actually saw those options because I posted 5 of them on social media and asked for feedback, like, okay, which one of these should be my new author photo? And so the second out of the 5 options was the one that most people chose, and it's actually the one that I like the best as well. So that's gonna be my new author photo. I really love it. It's a nice outdoor photo. I feel like it shows my personality, and it was great to get that confirmation that from other people that they really like that one. They felt connected with it as well. Plus it was just like a great way to just engage people on social media, because I like to be able to connect with people and build those relationships and have them involved in my journey with me. So thank you for everyone who like gave me your opinion about the photos. But yep, we have a winner. So I have my author photo now. My manuscript is final and edited, and then the next thing I did was submitted my illustration request. So I actually just submitted that a few days ago. Our company uses something called an illustration request sheet, which is a document that our clients use to really organize their vision. And it's so valuable because it can get challenging trying to communicate to someone else like what it is exactly that you see in your head, and you don't really know how to explain it so they can see it and understand it the way you see it in your mind. So this illustration request sheet is an amazing tool. It helps people to get their ideas into an organized format, organized words and images, so that our team can really understand it and execute it really well. Like our clients usually, they will ask for like maybe 1 round of revision. The most is 2, and it's like minor adjustments, and a lot of times there's like no revisions needed because our team is that great at understanding like what's on this illustration request sheet and executing it. And part of that is because of how the illustration request sheet is structured. But yeah, it's awesome. And so for me, completing that, it was an interesting process. It was a long process. It actually took me a few hours to complete it. But I don't have any regrets about it. Like, it took a lot of time, more time than I thought it would, but it was such a valuable experience. Like, it really allowed me to like put myself into the world of the book, into the world of my story. And it was cool to think about, okay, like, what do I want the dad to look like? And just like finding like different images, like, ooh, like, yeah, let's go with this hairstyle for the dad. Let's make the mom look like this. Let's make the main character look like that. I like this as like an example for what the brother should look like. I was able to pick out like their skin tones, and you know, at some parts I would like pick out an outfit. For the most part, I didn't really pick out outfits, but it was on like really one scene where I wanted to like actually pick out an outfit. But yeah, it was cool. And so I was able to create a clear vision for my book cover from going through that process. I did like some market research to get ideas for my book cover based off like similar books that are already out there, and how I wanted my book cover to be similar and how I wanted it to be different so that it stands out. So that was cool. And then I was able to come up with like a description of what I want each illustration scene to look like and how I want to divide up the story. Like, I want this text to be on page 1, this text to be on page 2. For this part of the story, I want the text on one side and the illustration on another side. For this part of the story, I want the text on top of my illustration. For this part of my story, I want vignettes, and the text is going to be like above and below or around the illustration. So I was able to get really, really creative. It took some time, but it was a worthwhile investment of my time. Because I could have just been like, you know, whatever they come up with, but then it might not have been something that really resonated with me. And some authors are like that. They're just like, whatever you guys come up with is fine. And they end up loving it because we have an amazing team when we're great at what we do. But having that opportunity to have my input and just really have everything come straight from my imagination to the page, I think it's like an empowering thing, and it makes me feel even more like excited to see what illustrators come up with, so I can see what their drawings look like and how closely they resemble like what I see in my head. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to that. One thing, because it did take a while, like honestly I felt tired after completing it because it was just like, whoo, all right, that was a lot of work to put all that together, and that was a whole lot to think about. So when I got like my confirmation after I submitted it, telling me that it's going to be like a few weeks for the sketches, I'm just like, great, time for me to kick back, relax, like I'm good, take your time. because I felt like I needed a break after all that. But it's cool because that's how we have things set up, where it's like you do like the majority of the work up front, give us everything that we need, and then you just sit back, relax, and put your feet up. We take it from there. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm excited and looking forward to being able to just relax and let our team do what they do best. And then, you know, weeks from now, I'll actually go back to it and see what they came up with. But for now, I'm taking a break because I already put the work in. I already mapped out my vision. I already went through the editing process. Everything that I need to, the majority of the work that I need to do for this is already done. Like, my team is pretty much going to do everything from here on out. So I'll just be checking in to like request revisions here and there and things like that. So I will be checking in with you guys when I receive my first sketches to let you know how that goes. But until then, enjoy your day, enjoy your time with your family, enjoy your health, have an awesome week, and keep on moving forward and upward.